All right.
Yeah.
Believe we're live now. Let's see. See if anyone else joins. If not, we're just alone. But yeah. So, what should we talk about first? What's new in the film world?
Well, main thing is Dune.
Dune Part 2. So I think we basically have the same opinions on Dune. What did you think?
We ended up with essentially everybody's agreeing it's just a great movie. So
yeah, it's like how much. That's the thing. I made a review of it, and it was like probably my shortest review I've made in like a couple years because I'm like, what do I have to add to the discussion?
Yeah, because usually you got to defend your statements and all that.
Yeah, but it's like, well, it's good, and everyone agrees that it's good. So what do I have to say? To be honest, here's my hot take I might put out there, is I actually think Dune Part 1 is slightly better.
Yeah, I've seen some people say that, and I still think the second one's a bit better, but just a bit. It's like they're like right there. It's like, who knows? Give it a year.
Yeah, give it some time. I want to watch 2 again. Ian's actually seen it twice. That's why I wanted to have him on here, because he might have like more of a detailed memory of it. Because when did you see it? You saw it after me, right?
Yeah, I saw it like, let's see, a week ago-ish? Week and a half ago? Let me see. Oh, wait, actually, a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I saw it like a couple weeks ago, so it's like, I still have a pretty good memory of it, but I'm like, I do want to watch it again. I still haven't seen the original Dune. The David Lynch one.
Really? Like a back-to-back screening?
No, I've never seen not the... I don't mean the Villeneuve, I mean the David Lynch Dune.
Yeah, that thing.
I'm like, I don't know if I want... My brother was like, he showed me some scene from it, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cringe. I don't know. I don't want to watch that.
It seems like they really tried to do it, but it did not work at all.
No. It's like, okay, good thing Villeneuve came along and like saved it.
Yeah, but, all the Dune fans would be stuck with that, which, I don't know, after seeing the second one, it was like, I went with like it was actually a pretty interesting screening where I saw it. You either have like, drive an hour and get a good theater, or you get a tiny, just random theater. And so, I went with my sisters and some of my friends, and it was us, some old random dude, and then this couple in the back. And it was so random, but literally the final scene happens, and my sister screams out, "Wait, is there going to be another one?" Just like,
wait, there's going to be more?
Yeah, she thought this was it.
Nope.
And then the other comedic thing, my sister, they kept going back for free popcorn. We're cheapos back here. I think we got like 5 refills of popcorn and soda. I ate 8 for soda, 5 for popcorn. We just devoured all of it. That was our dinner.
Oh.
But coming back, my sister tripped over the random dude that was going to the bathroom and stumbled into the couple who was making out in the back.
Oh, okay.
So random.
All right. This is an interesting Dune experience.
Yeah, it's one for the ages, I guess.
Oh man. Yeah, my experience wasn't nearly as exciting as that. My brother and I just went. He was like, "We should go see Dune," and then it's really weird. It's like, do you book the tickets before you go, or do you get them like while you're there and just walk in?
Nah, there's nobody in the theater, so we just get them while we're there.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if it was different over in the U.S. because like you can go in and you can buy the tickets there, or like whatever, get them online. And my brother's always like, "Why don't you book those tickets online?" I'm like, "Why? We can just walk in and get them there." He's like,
exactly.
It's like, but he's always like, "You have to do it beforehand." I'm like, okay. I guess he's worried about it getting sold out, but it was already out for like a week or so before we went to see it. So I'm like, there's not even gonna be that many people there.
Yeah, even if you go opening weekend. Whenever I go to a movie like opening weekend, it's always a movie that bombs at the box office. So that's sort of the way it goes for me.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What do we have to say about Dune 2? I guess we'll try and be critical. What did you not like about it? Was there anything that you thought was off?
They sort of like injected the humor in it a bit, which I don't know. Might have felt a little out of place when we had like this big war and then we had the random.
It wasn't like, yeah, because it wasn't as prevalent in the first movie.
Nah.
So it kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I mean, I guess they kind of had the scene in the first movie where because most of the comedic relief came from Javier Bardem's character, and they did have a scene in the first film where he kind of walked in when he first met. Oh man, what's his name? The Oscar Isaac and Paul's dad.
Oh yeah.
And he's like Leto Atreides. He comes in and he spits like his whatever it is, like his way of basically honoring the Duke, and they get all defensive, and he's like, oh no, it's fine, it's whatever, the Fremen way. So there was kind of a bit of goofiness to that character before, so it kind of made sense. But like the scene where he's like talking to Paul and he's like, oh, you're going out there, boo, or something. It's like, what? It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's like,
I did it was a joke for like 30 seconds after I had to like process.
He's like, there are desert ghosts out there or something. I was like, what? It's so random.
I don't know. It's with the people reacting to Paul, and then also it felt kind of strange to me what they did with Paul's mom, with like being like the religious leader and like getting everybody together. Which there was definitely the prophecy in the first one, but with how it was executed, it went from like one scene she's just like doing her thing, and the next scene she's like tattooed like major like
going from point A to point B was very quick, and she was also very hesitant about it. She was like, "You want me to become the whatever the hell they call her?" And they're like, "Yes, you need to take the place of this old crusty lady that's dying." And she's like, "Okay, I'll do that." And she's hesitant, but then she immediately goes in, and it's like, yeah, this cultist leader kind of came a little bit out of nowhere, I guess. And the whole thing with the fetus or whatever was a bit freaky. They kept showing that visual, and then it was Anya Taylor-Joy or whatever in the one scene where she turns around. It was very kind of.
I was like, yo, they got her cast, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing her in the cast, and I forgot it was Anya Taylor-Joy until I saw him, like, oh, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm like, what's she doing here? And she was gone. But
yeah,
for translating that, like, with the fetus and the baby, it's like such a weird concept. And like, I guess they executed like as good as you can a baby talking to our main character.
It was very strange, but it's like, yeah, how can you make that? Like, how can you make that work for a general movie-going audience?
For a blockbuster.
Yeah, so I think, I agree. They kind of did the best job they could have with that. What I pointed out in my video, which I'm not sure if you watched or not, is like the weird shields or whatever.
Yeah, they kind of like disappeared.
Yeah, I was like, where did they go? Because they really went out of their way to show them all the time in every single action scene in the first Dune. And in the second one, they used them a few times, like when Austin Butler is having his gladiatorial battle, or there's another point that I'm forgetting where they showed them. But for the most part, it was just on the aircrafts and other machinery they were operating. But they didn't seem to really be effective in the fight scenes. I got a comment on my video that said something along the lines of the vibrations from the shields disturb the sandworms or something. So that's why they can't use them in the desert.
That would make sense.
And I was like, okay, I guess that kind of lines up. But also, there were scenes where they weren't in the desert and they could have been using them.
Yeah. Because, like, a good chunk of, like, all of the fighting is either, it's all on Arrakis, whether it's on, like, a spaceship on Arrakis or it's, like, just in the sand, which, that was neat. It was cool to go outside of there and actually find the Emperor, which Christopher Walken as the Emperor, that was so, it was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. You just kind of popped in a couple times.
Emperor
Sorry?
of, like, everything. One of my other things with probably the shields is just from a technical standpoint, having like you have the hundreds of people fighting each other, then you have to add shields in there with CGI. That might have been a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, but they did it in the first one, so how much harder would it have been?
It was in the dark. I don't remember as much in the first one with like the big battles and stuff, but
I remember in the scene when Duncan Idaho was fighting the Sardaukar in the hallway, and he's like slicing them down, and they show every time he hits them, it's like flickering or something. So they made a point to show it in the first movie, and it seems like they just kind of gave up in the second one. I don't know. It's not like a film breaking issue, because it's like it's kind of funny because it's like, how effective are the shields actually?
yeah,
Because they just stab people anyway. So I don't really know how effective the shields are anyway, but I don't know. It was that, and then the main thing that stood out to me as feeling like kind of a major gap in logic was when the Harkonnens show up to the Emperor at the end, and they're like, we just found out that there's this base or this temple or whatever in the south. And it's like, why didn't you just go there and shoot them before? Because it's very clearly there on the surface of the planet. There is clearly this fortress temple hideout where all these Fremen are. And they just didn't look there before, I guess. Why? They keep saying no one can survive in the south except the Fremen. No one can adapt to the harsh landscape or something. But it's like Paul and his mom adapted pretty quick. So I don't know. Like, no one will survive there. And there's like 2,000 Fremen. So I don't really know if that's true. It felt like something that they made up to like try and hide. But even if it is uninhabitable for people, that doesn't mean they couldn't send in a ship to nuke them from the atmosphere or something. Like, I don't really understand.
That's true. Yeah, the logic with like just letting them survive or whatever.
It didn't make sense. Yeah, because my brother said in the original Dune, which he has seen, the David Lynch one, he hasn't read the book, but he says in that version, their temple or whatever little covert is like underground, so they actually wouldn't be seen. But it kind of seems like in this adaptation, they were like, we want to have the cool visual of this giant wall thing, like this temple. And so they didn't really think about the logic of why the Harkonnens wouldn't have just gone there and nuked them before. They just never looked there. And then just now, at the end of the movie, they found this base where they're hiding. And also conveniently, at that exact moment, Paul and his whole army show up to stop them. It's like, wow, good thing you guys showed up then. Otherwise, they probably would have gone and like blown you up.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
It just showed up exactly.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have a ton of problems with it. It was just cool. It was just a cool movie.
Yeah. It's cool that we get movies like this nowadays.
I think, yeah, exactly. I kind of compared it to Lord of the Rings and the fact that, yeah, it's kind of this epic fantasy story brought to life, like, well, it's not poorly adapted. It's hard to come by that, like, at all.
Yeah.
So I think that it was well done. I don't know, like, it's. I've seen some people say that it's not the most like emotionally investing thing. It's more about the technical prowess and the visuals and this world. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that, because it's like I don't think it's meant to be like I don't think it's meant to be the characters that are the glue that holds it together.
Apparently, like, what was it again? Let's see. I think the cast helped quite a bit with that. With all that, they got a good cast for that. But the first one definitely was more emotional. It seemed like throughout, because you have like moving for Planet and the Atreides and like all their different stuff. But then the end of the second one with the final scene with Zendaya just going off, Chauncey, It worked. I don't know. It was emotionally invested in for everybody I watched it with. They were
Yeah, I was as invested as I needed to be. I don't know why it wasn't like I wasn't out of it. I was definitely in the moment. Like, and yeah, most of that is due to how well it's kind of displayed and brought to life.
True.
With because I'm not sure if you watch the behind the scenes of Dune, but it's interesting to see how they melded all these like practical and CG elements to make it feel realistic. Like the ornithopters, they actually built that as like not a model, but like basically a replica. And then they kind of flew it around on some like helicopter. And then they used the helicopter to actually achieve the effect of the sand blowing around or whatever, like in camera. And then they just kind of were able to, what's the right word? Like paste in the ornithopter instead of the actual helicopter. So it looks like there's this kind of, kind of seamless, like visual of the, whatever it is, this unrealistic vehicle in a realistic setting, right?
Yeah, melding them all together. I saw a few clips. I didn't see like the full documentary, but yeah, Denis, he gets his technical stuff down. Yeah. All of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dune was good. Good job, Denis. Good job, man. Look forward to the next one. Yeah.
Apparently, the next one, Dune Messiah, is going to be out in like a while because he wants to make a few movies before he makes another Dune one.
I don't blame him.
If you heard that, so we got to wait like probably over 6 years before we see it.
Well, I'm fine with that. As long as it's good.
I think we can give it some time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not that worried. I'm ready for it whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what else is new? What else do we have to talk about? I saw that you saw Kung Fu Panda. How's that? That wasn't good, was it?
That was a very random one. My little brothers were seeing something. I sort of had to babysit them and stuff. I'm like, okay, sure, Kung Fu Panda 4. Like, have you guys even seen the other 3? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I grew up on those type things for a little bit. Not crazy amount, like How to Train Your Dragon or Shrek, but yeah, nah, that was another disappointment. I had high expectations for DreamWorks.
No, well, it's like Puss in Boots was so good. That was like some weird outlier. I don't know how they made that.
I have no idea, because nobody at all ever wanted a sequel to Puss in Boots of all movies, because the first one was so forgettable and nobody remembered. And then they made this amazing sequel, and then Kung Fu Panda, people like that, but yeah, the trailers came out, I'm like, this doesn't look too good.
I just didn't, it wasn't interesting.
Wee Kwan on there, but other than that.
Oh, he's in there, right?
Yeah, him, Aquafina, and then, I forgot her name, but the lady who was the villain in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, Viola Davis.
Yes, her. She was in as the villain, which they just keep casting her as villains.
She's in her villain era. I saw someone say that.
Yeah, she was villain in Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. She was the villain in Peacemaker, the show. She was the villain in The Suicide Squad. Like, she's just doing that.
She's everything.
But yeah, I saw it. Essentially, just like not exactly as bad as like a Megamind 2 or like a direct.
I'm never gonna watch that. Megamind 2.
I have an urge to, kind of, because I watch. It's like my tradition. I see like the classic. Every critic says this is the worst movie of the year. Like last year was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So I checked that out. So Megamind 2 probably will be seen by me, but I'm not looking forward to it.
But how can it be worse than Madam Web? That's the real question.
No, I can see it being. Well, Madam Web is like Morbius, but less funny.
Really? Oh man, I was thinking maybe I should watch it, but I didn't know. I was like, because Morbius was funny, and I did get entertainment out of that movie, even with how bad it was.
It's less entertaining than Morbius. I was supposed to go to the theaters to see. What was it? I don't know what I was gonna. I think I was gonna see. I have no idea. I was gonna see some other movie, something good. But then
I was going to see something good, but then I went and watched something bad.
Yeah, I went into it, and this dude, Devin, he works at the theater. This is like the smallest theater ever. There's like barely any space. Oh, wait, give me a second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
No.
Well, we're here alone. No problem.
So, Madam Web, the dude literally told us, he's like, you know what you're going into, right? He's like, this is not a good movie. He's like, this is one of the worst movies that I have seen in a very long time. He like runs the theater. He's
That's so funny. This guy works there and he's like, screw this movie.
Yeah, he was in a conversation about the like thousands of posters that he's been saving, and he got real emotional when he's talking about we had a bit of a flood here in New York like 4 years ago. He's like, yeah, we lost like 1/3 of the posters.
Oh.
It's like, but I don't know. We got to. He's like, yeah, this has got like a 20-something on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, no, it's down to 13. He's like, really? So watched it. It was yeah. This very bad movie.
What was that line that everyone was making fun of?
I went in. She was studying spiders in the Amazon. He was studying spiders in the Amazon with my mother. Oh,
right before she died.
Yeah, right before she died.
That's so funny. I didn't even hear that.
Movie.
It's not in the movie? Oh, that makes it even better. It's like that scene with Vulture in Morbius that also wasn't in the movie. Like when he's like getting out of the cop car and he's like, hey, how's it going, Michael Morbius? It's like not in the movie.
They cut like all the Spider-Man stuff out of Morbius. And then Madam Web, apparently they had like a post-credit scene. They had a bunch of stuff. They cut the post-credit scene and they declared that it isn't in the same universe as like their Venom and Craven. And
that's so funny because they said it was and now they're like, no.
Yeah, it's so bad that they didn't even put it in the same universe.
They're like, we won't even acknowledge it.
And then,
but they were so proud of Morbius that they had to release it twice.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. How is Madam Web so bad that you can't even count it as part of your universe, but Morbius was good enough to release twice?
Well, I would say Morbius, although they both get like 1 star, Morbius is like definitely, it's like double funnier. It's got like 2 times the funny in it because Madam Web had a lot more bad acting and random stuff. They literally just went to the Amazon because why not? Random spider people.
There's spider people? Oh my god.
The villain was just giving like random ChatGPT villain monologues, which is like you get to see the back of his head or the back of his
I heard that there was a lot of bad ADR and you couldn't actually tell.
Yeah, there was a ton of that in the entire movie. And I saw it in like the first 10 minutes, which is the most when I'm like paying attention to it. And then, like, no, it was horrid. But
wow,
I don't know. It was.
How long is it?
I knew what I was walking into.
Do you know how long it is? How long is it? Do you know?
It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay, so it's not even like 2 hours. Okay, good.
Nah.
Yeah, I could probably watch that. If it was like over 2 hours, I wouldn't watch it, but maybe.
Yeah, that's where I'm more likely to watch like Kung Fu Panda 4 than I am like some Godfather-esque like 3-hour drama thing. That's where Oscar season is just the worst for me at times because like I want to watch Killers of the Flower Moon, but I also want to like, you know, do anything else in my day.
Yeah, same here. I'm like, I don't have time. Yeah, I want to watch that too. There's a bunch of the Oscar movies that I still thought. I was trying to catch up on a bunch of stuff like recently.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And then it always ends up I got like 2 to 3 movies that I'm like, okay, put that in the watch list. Someday when I'm like really old and I have all the time in the world, I'll just watch all the
Someday
Oscar
when I'm really old.
Because like last year, the big one that I missed was Tar.
Oh yeah, Tar was good.
I don't know. I saw 5 out of 10 for the Oscar thing, so I was satisfied with that. I saw the ones I wanted to see most.
Well, there you go. That's all you need, really. Yeah, I saw. What did I watch recently? I watched the creator, which I don't even think that was up for like visual effects or something. But yeah, I thought that was okay. I don't know.
That was my consensus. I was like, this is an okay movie. The visual effects are okay, and I was looking forward to it. I was going to see it in theaters and stuff. The reviews were like, this is like a 6 out of 10 movie. I'm like, no, please, that's the worst thing it could have been.
It was just alright. The funniest thing with that movie to me was I just got off watching that show, The West Wing, and Allison Janney, who plays the Secretary of State in The West Wing, was like this hardened military colonel, and she was like, "We have to destroy the AI," and it was like so funny. Like every time she came in, she was like, "Soldier, you got to get out there and kill the AI." I was like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." It's like I can't unsee her as this other character after watching 7 seasons of this TV show. And I'm meant to believe she's like this really serious macho military woman. It was like so freaking funny. I was like, I can't get over this.
It's always hilarious when they do that with stuff. It's funny.
That was great. But yeah, I don't know what else did I see recently. It was like Oscar. Oh, I saw you didn't like May December.
Yeah, May December. This was in the Oscar season where there was like a solid 2 weeks where people are like, May December for the Oscar. And I got swept up in that crowd and I was like, yo, let's check it out. And I watched it with my sisters. It was over 2 hours long. I liked it more than my sisters, I think. There were some good performances in there. Definitely a creepy movie.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't think I ever want to watch it again. Like it's just kind of unsettling.
Yeah, I could see why people could love it. Is be like, this is a great movie. I'm never gonna watch it again. It was beautiful and all this stuff. For me, I'm like, oh boy, it just did not work for me.
Yeah, I was just like, it was all right. It's kind of the same process I've had with a lot of these movies I watched recently. These Oscar movies, I was like, it's all right.
Yeah, which if you're giving me something over 2 hours, I don't really want something that's all right. I want it to be like comedically bad, just a dumpster fire, or just like a decent movie.
Yeah.
May December. It was interesting. I was creeped out. It was weird. I was disgusted, but like,
yeah,
we were like doing the math during like the entire movie, being like, he is this much older than him, that we're considering like he literally could be this age, and then comparing it, it's just like, whoa. Yeah,
it was just kind of disturbing. And then whatever, like the Natalie Portman character was also pretty venal too. Like she was pretty gross. Like I didn't like her either. Like they were all just gross people, except for the guy. He was just like a victim.
Yeah, he was just a victim. Whereas like nobody is screaming around with like their heads on it, being like, I don't even know what you do. You just run. You get away from that movie set. Yeah. But nobody was doing that. And then I think there was a solid like 3 times where we all burst out laughing at a random scene. It's supposed to be super dramatic. It's like, I try to figure out what to watch with certain people. Like that was a good choice to watch with my sister. Just drag them through that weird experience. Yeah, it was a strange movie. And then, I don't know what else to say about that. That was, and then what was this stupid shit about Spider-Verse, man? I'm pissed about that. It didn't get anything. It didn't win anything. The Oscars. Oh, for the Oscars, yeah. Yeah. Across the Spider-Verse, it should have gotten score at least. Like, it deserved. Yeah, like, what was this? Indiana Jones 5 got a nomination? Why? Because John Williams is old? Like, that was I don't even remember a single theme from that movie. I don't remember anything. Yeah, there's nothing original in there. No, it's just a bunch of old Indiana Jones crap. Here's the thing, dude. They do this. They've done this countless times. They nominated John Williams for Rise of Skywalker. So I think they just like I think they have some weird, not contract, but like obligation where they're like, we have to give the nomination to John Williams for some reason. And I'm like, why? What? Yeah, that's where it can be kind of frustrating. We're like, well, last year Jamie Lee Curtis won the Oscar and nobody thought that she deserved the Oscar. She was like a comedic like cameo. She wasn't. Yeah, it was like a weird cameo. And then, well, like she deserved it after like all her years of like film and stuff, so she deserved it. And then like it's kind of the opposite thing with like Robert De Niro and like Leonardo DiCaprio. They like did their great scores, but everybody not their great scores, not their great acting, and like everybody's like, yeah, of course, and they didn't get nominated. They're like, we've given them Oscars before.
Yeah.
But John Williams, yeah, it's amazing that he's still up and doing it, and he is a legend and all that. And
it's amazing that he's still alive, but I don't really.
Yeah, he's still alive, and that's enough to give him a nomination. He pulled through another year. They're keeping him alive. They're like, he might come out with an original piece of music. That's why they're keeping him alive.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it's just so stupid. Yeah, because there's like, did I send you that video where Daniel Pemberton, the composer for Spider-Verse, is like breaking down one of the tracks from the movie, and he's like so happy and into it, and he's like, I loved working on this. I loved composing this, and he's like talking about it. It's just like so like nice to see. Like you can tell that the guy loved doing it and he's so proud of his work. And I'm like, screw these guys. John Williams phoned it in and he gets nominated. And this guy's over here like passionately loving life and he doesn't get shit. Like it's so annoying.
That was probably the most annoying thing at the Oscars. But like it was really cool. I got to go over to a friend's house and actually watch it. It was really awesome. And
oh yeah.
I don't know. I just walk in and it's like, yeah, this person wins and this person wins. And then the live performance is like Barbie and that. I was hoping because by extension, did you see Poor Things?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you know the black guy that shows up on the boat for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Jared Carmichael, and he is like best friends with Bo Burnham, like the random dude who I've been obsessed with like his comedy stuff.
Right.
He also did some movies, directed 8th Grade.
Yeah, I know.
All that stuff. So I was thinking maybe I could get a sighting of this man at the Oscars. But I didn't see him. But at the Grammys, after Billie Eilish won her like Grammy for a song from for Barbie, it was What Was I Made For? Like one table behind her, he was like clapping. It was crazy to see him, but like right. Cool to actually see the Oscars and stuff.
Yeah, I bet. I was really sad that I missed that. Like, because that was when I went to go see Dune with my brother. And then we didn't get back until like super late. And I like asked my parents, I was like, did you watch it? And they were like, no, because the internet like crashed. I was like, oh my God. So we actually, you may have noticed that the call wasn't glitching out a million times because we got a new internet provider. Because Kojiko was terrible. So we canceled our subscription with Kojiko, and now we have Bell. And it works a lot better. So
I don't know if it's just Canada, but we don't have Kojiko or Bell in America as far as I know.
Really? Well, then we're weird like that.
Yeah, we got Verizon. It's like our number one here. And it works.
Well, that's good. Don't ever get Kojiko. If you ever go anywhere where Kojiko exists, don't get Kojiko. It's terrible.
All right, man. And then I watched I Like Movies.
Yeah, that's a good one, eh?
That is a good movie, but like it was a day I didn't have school or something. It was a snow day. It was like 10 o'clock. I get my phone out. I'm like, I'm gonna watch I Like Movies for the hell of it. Ben wants me to watch I Like Movies probably. And I watched it, and for like the rest of the day, I was like an emotional wreck.
Well, I'm sorry that I did that to you.
I don't know what happened to me, but like after that movie, I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Oh wow!
But it was definitely an experience.
It was, yeah. That was such a crazy movie.
It was real.
It was so real. I was like, what is this movie? When his boss or whatever goes on that like tragic rant about that story about how she got raped or whatever, I was like, holy shit, this is so like upsetting.
Yeah, it's just like
I was like, no. I was like, whoa.
For a movie that starts with like watching SNL, like a cute, fun two best friends skit, it goes to some dark places with our main character being like the worst, but like still like you don't want him to fail in everything, and then just it got me invested. It was surprising.
Yeah, I know. It was like weirdly.
That movie might be better than Dune Part 2. I don't know.
I liked it more personally.
Yeah, like it's got the characters and all that investment. I'm gonna remember these people, just like And then, complete asshole that our character was, that he was more concerned about Punch Drunk Love than the guy that literally got fired from his job. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That was like the final straw where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't.
You're such you're such a
like,
narcissist.
I'm okay if you get beat up and left in the sewer for the rest of the movie, but like,
I was glad when he got called out. When what's your name was like, you're a freaking narcissist, dude. Like, shut up. You're fired. Like, I was like, okay, good.
Like, still, he had bits and pieces where he's like trying to make stuff a bit, but he's like, what a film.
Yeah, it was really good. Really surprisingly good. I had no. That's the thing. My dad had told me about that. He was like, "We should watch I Like Movies. We got to watch this thing. I Like Movies." I was like, "Oh, Dad, come on, man. You're always telling me to watch these movies." And then I watched it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, whoa. Okay, Dad, I'm never gonna doubt your taste in movies again.
Yeah, every once in a while, the parents come through. My dad, he decided he wanted to watch Doolittle since he grew up watching the 1967 Doolittle movie. So I watched Doolittle with Robert Downey Jr., one of the worst films I have ever seen. So I had about the opposite experience. But,
oh, man. Doolittle.
It's like, I like movies. That's one to like, that's a winter movie.
That's one for the ages. Yeah. Yeah, and I've like never heard of anybody in that before. I've never heard of that director, never heard of any of those actors, like, ever.
Yeah. His friend, his like best friend character, I recognize him. He was in some like Disney show, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Some show. I immediately recognized him, then I looked up his movies and he'd been in nothing, so on Letterboxd, of course, so I had to check out his shows, because it's so annoying to me that they won't do shows on them. Letterboxd. Oof, come on, guys.
It's weird how they do that. Eh? Like they have like a few Disney shows.
Yep, that's it.
They put like a few Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, and they had the Queen's Gambit on there, and that was it.
Guys.
I was like, okay.
Like, I guess there's not a perfect way to do it, but it's Letterboxd. You could get different seasons, individual season. You could do overall. There's some stuff that you could do there.
Yeah, they could do anything.
The way that they did the Visions episodes kind of ignored me. It annoyed me.
They put every single one on there.
But it's like still every episode is
individually. Yeah, every episode individually they had on there. I guess because it's a series of different stories, they don't count it as like. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, I guess. But I'm glad I got it. It's cool. Thanks. I used to, when I got like grounded from the internet for a year, I had a notebook that had read all the movies and stuff, shows that I watched them, and it's like I've slowly gone away from that. It's like me. Same thing with like YouTube, where it's like less motivation to watch movies because make my 2024 list longer. More motivation to just like I wanted to watch a movie, so I watched it.
Yeah.
Which is nice, I guess.
Yeah, that is good. That's the thing. I'm like, kind of, like, I've been doing a little bit less stuff recently. I've kind of been like, okay.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Like, just do. Actually, weirdly, recently I did a lot of videos, but I've just kind of been selective. I'm like, okay, this is it. Because I was like, okay, I have to do something on the West Wing because I watched like 7 seasons of that show, and I can't not talk about it. In that video, I don't know. I liked the way it turned. There could have been more in it, but I don't think dude. There's so much in that show. It's like I made it into an 11-minute video, and it's kind of like there's so much that I didn't cover, but I don't have time. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
like that's been the other thing. Like watching shows. I've been watching The Office. I'm like at like season 5, which I don't do this. I don't watch like seasons upon seasons of shows for comedy of all things. But like been doing that. It's like there's no Letterboxd to review it on. It's just enjoying it. It's just like slowly making my way through it, which is it's nice.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We got The Acolyte coming up.
Oh boy, The Acolyte.
Mediocre Star Wars.
Another mediocre Star Wars show. I just don't, dude. I'm so like, Star Wars is just nothing for me anymore. Just like, I have like 2 things that I'm interested in, and that's it.
Like, I'll watch it all, and I got some motivation because my girlfriend has never seen any Star Wars movies, so I was like, yo, you get to see Star Wars. And then other than the 9 movies, I'm like, you don't need to see anything else. We could just cut it at that. Because Star Wars is such a... It's like nothing. There's nothing that like carries through. Like the Bad Batch, it's decent. Clone Wars is ups and downs, and then even Mandalorian just took the biggest plunge I've ever seen for a show.
Mandalorian just died. I don't. Oh man, yeah, I just don't care. That's the sad part. It's like just let Andor be good, let Bad Batch end well, and give us a good ending to the Jedi games. That's all I care about now. That's like all. That's all I don't know what you do. It's too late to bring George back or anything. We need to find somebody. We need to fire somebody and like rehire somebody. You need to fire Dave Filoni. You need to fire Dave Filoni.
Yeah, get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. Get rid of Dave Filoni. It was cool. It was cute in 2020, but like 2024.
2024. It's the same shit. Yeah, it's just like the same garbage over and over again. And like even here's the thing, like I've been really liking the last season of Bad Batch, but dude, that last episode was really like dumb. It was really annoying. Do you want me to tell you about that the Ventress thing? It's so stupid. It's like
so they brought Ventress back. I didn't get that until now that she showed up in Bad Batch. But
yeah, she just shows up. Like it's like set up in the plot. Like in the previous episode, they team up with what's her name, the Boba Fett's like right hand woman character. Remember her? Oh
yeah, Fennec Shand.
Yeah, so she's there, and they go on a mission with her, and they're trying to find out what M counts are, midichlorian counts, because they want to find out why the Empire is trying to capture Omega again. And so Fennec is like, I'll give you this intel, and then she like goes over to like her computer, and she's like, hey, I bumped into these clones. You should go pay them a visit. And then it's like, oh, who's she talking to? And then Ventress just like appears in a cave on their little resort island. And she's like, yo, how's it going? And she's like, this is what M counts are. Omega's like, can you like test me to see if I have a high M count? And she's like, okay, sure. And then the Bad Batch like look her up on Google, and they're like, oh, actually, we remember her now. She was like a terrorist in the war. We don't like you. So they have a quick fight. And then Ventress is like, but I'm not your enemy. I'm not going to fight you anymore. She and Omega go out in a boat, and she, like, tames a whale. Ventress, like, calms down this whale squid thing. And then she's like, well, Omega, you don't have the Force. Peace out. And it's like, why did she here? Like, why did you bring her back from death to do something that anyone else could have done? It doesn't...
I thought they were doing it for Ahsoka with like the random person. I was like completely sold to this Ventress, but I did not expect them to bring her back for Bad Batch. Which
it's so weird, dude, because she has no relevance at all, like to the story of the show.
I could get it with Ahsoka. It makes sense. She was pretty involved with like Ahsoka's like upbringing and like all this different stuff. She fought her throughout the war. There's like this like rivalry that they've had, mostly Ventress and Anakin, but like Ahsoka.
Or they even found some common ground, right? Too, because they kind of work together.
Yeah, they found some common ground and some things that they agreed on when they were fighting. Like literally, Obi-Wan fought with Ventress a few times on like the good side. So like it's got some stuff there, but like Bad Batch is bringing them back in like the original animated form. It's just like it's like Saturday cartoons. It's like, yo, check it out. Ventress is back. Haven't seen her in a bit. And,
it's just like, why? It's because the thing is, I've been pretty like positive on the show's handling of fan service and how they've handled these characters coming in and making these little cameo appearances. Because most of the little cameos that happen are like relevant to the story, and they like progress the journey of the like Saw Gerrera shows up at the end of the last season to essentially be the one who kills Tech. Like he needed to be there to screw everything up, so that Tech had to make the sacrifice play. So, like, most of the characters that show up, if not all of them, are relevant. In what way is Ventress relevant to the Bad Batch? Like, they literally don't know who she is. They have to go look her up, and they're like, oh, yeah, this is who this is. Like, they don't even know who she is. She has no connection to any of them. And it's stupid because you know who they know Rex. You know who Rex knows? Ahsoka. Why didn't he contact Ahsoka and she could have told them that? Like, they needed a Force user, someone who knows what midichlorians are, to tell them what midichlorians are. They didn't need Ventress of all... Like, it's just weird to me that they resurrected a dead character to convey information that could have been conveyed by any other Force user. Like, what?
No, it's strange.
It's like, they even know the little Wookiee kid, right? They have the Wookiee... They like, saved the one Wookiee Padawan. And I mean, I guess he's a youngling, so maybe he doesn't know all the specifics of midichlorians and all that whatever Jedi Masters like Qui-Gon would know or something. But, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he did, and Ahsoka would probably know that. I guess the argument could be made that she's still, like, laying low, like she's undercover and Rex can't contact her or something. But I'm like, why not? Like, I think she'd be willing to help out. If Rex just, like, sent her a message and was like, hey, Ahsoka, like Rex texts Ahsoka, hey, can you tell me what midichlorians are? Great, thanks. And then he just tells the Bad Batch what that is. Like, why did it have to be Ventress who just appears out of thin air and then disappears?
I think they just got to bring everybody back. That's what
it's just like, we have to have Ventress here. It's just dumb. Like, and it felt so, like, out of place in the show because at the end, there's this weird line where they're like, are you not worried about the Empire tracking you down? And she's like, I've got a few lives left or something. It's like, what does that even mean? You're just never gonna die now, even though you were dead. Like, I don't actually.
I guess she doesn't have enough like popularity to like do anything serious, so she's like, I'll show up sometime. We don't know what. I won't come back in live action, but like maybe animated if this show goes good or something.
I don't know. It's just like, it's annoying because one of the writers said, because that was the big thing in the trailer, was that Ventress was in the trailer. And everyone was freaking out. They're like, oh my God, it's Ventress. And so one of the writers said, we know everyone's worried that we're going to retcon this book and that Ventress is alive again or whatever. Don't worry. We're going to explain it. And that's your explanation is I've got some lives left. And then that makes me wonder, like, I saw people saying, oh, it's probably because of the Night Sisters and they use their resurrection powers. And I'm like, this makes me go down a rabbit hole of what the extent of the abilities of the Night Sisters are. And I don't want to have to think about that in the Bad Batch. Like, this show has nothing to do with that. I don't want to think about the Night Sisters. Like this. The story, for the most part, has been hard locked on these guys and the clones as a collective. I don't want to have to think about the freaking Night Sisters and how their powers work. Like, just screw off with this.
It's something separate entirely that has nothing to do with the Bad Batch.
No.
As far as we see, like, it ties into Clone Wars. But, yeah, I guess just to bring her back, put her in the probably not getting enough views. Put her in the trailer. People show up.
It just felt like this weird like interlude where they're like, we have to have this other character show up because it's like the season has had a good pace where it's like kind of the beginning kind of very like dark and then it kind of picks up a little bit and for the most part it's been like Crosshair and a lot of these episodes are just his slow process of like rebuilding himself. And all these great like character moments for him. And suddenly this character just pops in who has no connection to any of them and is just like, hey, hi, bye, and leaves. It's like it's just so like bizarre and I didn't like it at all. But
unfortunate that Disney keeps doing this to you.
I don't think it's gonna kill the show because there's like still 6 episodes left. I'm like, they can still wrap it up well. As long as they don't bring it. I saw someone saying, what if the end of the show is Omega going off with a Ventress? I'm like, no, don't do that.
And they're like, we're done with our Bad Batch, but Ventress, we got more stories to tell with her.
No, that would make no sense if suddenly a random character just showed up and then it became about her. Like,
yeah, I care a little bit about the Bad Batch, but like I was about to say, like if there's a season 4, I'm done. I wouldn't eventually be done because of my commitment to Star Wars, but like I'm just watching it the same reason that I'd watch like Rebels season 3 or 4, just to say that I watched it and that I could get it, because my tolerance for like where this entire story and stuff is going, it's been a bit much with stringing. Where like Clone Wars, you have an entire war to fit in. The Bad Batch is their own guys, relying on the characters. So you showed me the random thing with Echo, where I don't know, they might do something with the Bad Batch, where they're like, well, we're done with the Bad Batch, but Omega, the show, Ventress, the show, Cat Bane, the show, we'll see.
Yeah,
I heard some rumor that Samuel L. Jackson would be up for doing like a Mace Windu show or movie. I'm like,
oh no.
There's so many stuff that like Disney could just pop out for shows, and it's like, that's kind of freaky.
Yeah, this thing is like, I just don't really care anymore. It's just like, if this story, if they do some Ventress crap, or they make another Bad Batch spin-off, I don't really care. I'm just like, just wrap up the story of these guys, this show, because that's what I care about. That's the thing is like, they've been tying it, like they tied in the beginning of the season and probably the overall plot into the Palpatine cloning thing. Yeah. Where it's like, and it's like,
it was cool because it worked with Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of like, I don't really care about that. Like that's my thing is I'm like I care about these characters when the show is just like Omega and Crosshair vibing. I'm like, yeah, man. When it's like, oh, the great Palpatine cloning conspiracy, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. So that's the thing is I'm just hoping they wrap it up well. They don't make a bunch more garbage. But they're gonna do. That's the thing. It's just gonna be a lot of garbage. That's the thing. Like I just.
That's kind of what Star Wars has been right now. It's just like the shows, the random stuff, the like garbage, the movies that they're announcing, and we don't have like a solid like. This feels like meandering. We're just in the middle where like not much is happening. Fandom slowly dying. We need like something that everybody needs to see. We need like a new, like epic movie that has nothing to connect with anything. It's just like its own thing. And not just like another one-off. They're just like, okay, we're going to stop with all the shows and movies and we're just doing like this one thing. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Because Star Wars is kind of like, yeah, we'll do whatever.
That's the thing. It's like they can do anything and they just always go back to the same thing. It's just like I saw this video. Did I send you that video that was called Star Wars Can't Grow Up or something? And it was just basically talking about how they keep going back to the same like 5 characters all the time. It's like, okay, we're going back to Luke. We're going back to. It's just like always back to these like same characters.
And then Star Wars is inspired by like old Star Wars, where like original Star Wars, the original 6, were inspired by like political stuff. They were by like the old westerns, like what was it, Buck Rogers? It wasn't Buck Rogers. It was something else. It was all this different stuff. Flash Gordon, that's what it was. And George Lucas was inspired by all this, and then new Star Wars is just based on old Star Wars, so it's like creative inbreeding. It's like this whole thing, and it's like,
it's just like we need some fresh blood.
Vinny Villeneuve skin in Star Wars.
Yeah, we need something that. Yeah, we need someone who isn't just like who doesn't know what they're doing. That's the thing.
George Lucas fanboys.
Yeah, that's what Dave Filoni is. I think people are maybe finally realizing that Dave Filoni is not actually that good of a creator. Like he needs other people. Because here's the thing, like I did my research. A lot of people don't do this. They like to attribute all the good aspects of these Star Wars TV shows to him. In reality, he's only written some of it. The good stuff in the Clone Wars and all this. A lot of it wasn't him. Because I checked it. Like I looked up a lot of people on YouTube are like, wow, they did this so well in the Bad Batch. Good job, Dave Filoni. And a lot of people are like correcting them. They're like, actually, it's Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao and all these other people. Because it's like, yeah, Dave Filoni co-wrote one episode of the Bad Batch. One. He has had no involvement. It says in the credits, created by Dave Filoni. What I think that means is Dave Filoni like popped his head in and said, make that show. And they were like, okay. Like, I think
he's the guy that gave like the clearance. Hey, you guys can make this.
Yeah, that was the extent of his involvement. Like, I don't think he actually does. And then when he did get full creative control in Ahsoka, it was not good.
Oh yeah, that was. it's like the same thing with all the shows. It's like with Echo. It's with Marvel shows now. Echo, Ahsoka, all the stuff. It like, and then the Bad Batch was sort of on the side of this. Like I gave Bad Batch and Mandalorian the same score, like a 6. Mandalorian dropped down to like a 4. Bad Batch is still holding strong at a 6.
Yeah.
Whereas like Ahsoka went down, Echo went down, and then the same thing happened to like Rick Riordan that happened with Dave Filoni with the Percy Jackson.
Oh
show.
yeah. That wasn't too good, was it? It was just kind of like.
Yeah, it was. I think I actually prefer the movie, which is insane with how much hype I had for the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. I liked the show when I was watching it, but it's like so just how like it's too fluffy. You know, like do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
Like it's just too like
cut to blacks and all that.
That was terrible. I got so annoyed whenever they did that. It was like, we're gonna go do this. Cut to black. Then they're doing something else. I was like, why? It's like, oh, for commercial breaks? There are no commercial breaks. It's Disney Plus. Like,
exactly.
What are you doing?
I guess Rick is just too invested in the book format, and like, I was really excited. Like before the show came out, I'm like, yeah, now we get Kane Chronicles, the show that's gonna come out. I'm like, we got season 2, we got all this stuff, and like, as the show went on, people like were hyping it up so much. All the fans were there, and then I saw like Friendly Space Ninjas video on it.
Yeah, it was a good
like,
video.
All the hype just dropped slowly, and like Rick Riordan seems very cocky with what he's doing with that, and it's just like my expectations of him go down.
Yeah, like I saw that. Wasn't he all like? He was like, oh, I did such a better job with this than they did with that movie. Wasn't he like bragging about it, and then it was like not good? Yeah.
It's insane.
That was dumb.
It's been nice talking. My phone is about to die. And,
oh, for real? Okay.
For something, but it's been nice. It's nice whenever we can do this. I'm glad that we actually got.
Yeah, for sure. We should do it again, and you know, whenever freaking Ian is like alive, and he's like, we should get him. I think it would be great to have this kind of 3-way conversation, but yeah. Whenever both of us get a chance and we can all convene.
Text me whenever you find Ian, whenever you get him outside of a Wendy's.
Yes, like, I'll make sure. Yeah, whenever he's not. Yeah, whenever he's. All right.
I'm trying to join it because I don't know. I'm not up for doing much on YouTube right now. I'm just living life and stuff. And
good. Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. Like I got the girlfriend, and then like I started 12th grade.
Like, oh wow.
Under a month ago, I finished 11. So I'm like. I'm trying to figure stuff out, booking up my summer with like job opportunities and stuff. Just
nice
living life, and so I'm up for talking movies anytime.
All right, that sounds good, man. Yeah, whenever there's another big release, or maybe we should do it again when Bad Batch is over.
Yeah,
you've watched it. Yeah, because I've been trying to catch him up on it because we watched season 1 like years ago, and he fell behind. Like he didn't watch season 2, and so I've been like, dude, we gotta like binge it, or you gotta get through it. And he's like, oh yeah, we should do that. And then he like, and the same thing happens where he's like off at Wendy's or some shit. It's like, come on, man. So it's like, we watch the Bad Batch, dude. Yeah. So yeah, whenever we get the chance, hopefully. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna, keep up on the show. But yeah, whenever you get around to watching it or whatever, we can do another one talking about that show. And maybe we could do it for the friggin' Acolyte too. If you watch it, I don't even know. Are you gonna watch it? Because if you watch it, maybe we can talk about it. If I watch it, we can talk about it. But I don't really know if I even want to watch it.
I'm gonna watch it because my loyalty to Star Wars. But like, it's weird. The Marvels came out, and I've watched everything Marvel. I've seen all the shit. I've seen like She-Hulk. I made it through Moon Knight. Every single show, Miss Marvel, everything. The Marvels. It's been out, and I've been able to watch it for like 3 months, and I still haven't seen it. I've been working on it, but like these shows, with me getting like busier and stuff, and like prioritizing stuff, and I know it's just gonna be like a 6 out of 10. Like, yeah, I'll watch it, but it's getting harder. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah, you gotta. Down my throat. Yeah, you gotta get your priorities straight, and you gotta pick and choose. That's kind of what I've done too. I'm like picking and choosing what I can and can't talk about. But yeah. But yeah. Whenever you're around, whenever you got time, happy to have you on. I've got some other friends too who I was talking to about my channel. I found out that one of them has Letterboxd, and then we kind of got talking about that, and I was like,
you guys should come on my podcast sometime or come on the channel. We can talk about whatever. So, this is basically our thing. Like we've kind of done this, so you can be on there too or whatever. And I think they said, this guy he's over in he's in university, and they said he said he's coming back in May. So that's when we're probably.
I'm gonna be gone for like all of May.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then maybe we'll do that one on our own. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I found when I was on YouTube for a while, and like still, pretty much everybody that's talking movies on YouTube and like within our ages, is just like some random guy who's like love stars. So just a bunch of dudes on YouTube talking about movies, primarily in the ages of like 14 to 21.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's fun. It's just
a bunch
fun.
Of nerds.
Yeah, it's cool, man. But so I'm gonna get more people on. Hopefully, get more people on the streams and talk about whatever is popular, whatever they want to talk about, really. Because I like to talk about the more niche stuff, like whatever. I like movies, right? That's like totally.
Yeah.
You had no idea about that, and then I told you about it, and then we talked about it for a couple minutes here. So,
great movie.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
It was good chatting with you, man.
Go.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was great.
We'll talk to you again soon. Take it easy.
Same there. See ya.
Peace out. All right, everybody. That's it for the great podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call this. I don't know what I call these, really. But yeah, I was going to bring my old pal Ian on here today, but he couldn't make it. So yeah, we'll reconvene. Hopefully Braden and I will come on again and talk about whatever's popular. I don't even know how many people care to watch these or tune in, but it's fun to make them, and people can hear my thoughts on whatever's new, whatever's interesting, So hopefully everyone who tuned in enjoyed. Hopefully, Braden, if you're rewatching this, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed talking as well. And it's good to come on here and just chat about the world of film. So once again, thanks for tuning in, everyone. And I hope you guys have a great day, or as it is for me, a great night. Take care. Bye.